Anna has been married for over a year and is mother to the illustrious 4-month-old Theodore James. She spent a few years in missionary work for NET in the Diocese of Columbus through Damascus. Anna now works remotely with the Catholic collaborative effort in Grapevine, Texas, known as The Studio and Bummer and Lazarus. Support the studio's creative work by checking out Studio Coffee, available through their website at thestudiograpevine.com. This is a Know His Love story.
I think the main one that I point back to, the main point I can look at in my life that was a very, very pivotal conversion moment was the first summer I had the opportunity to be a camp counselor at Catholic Youth Summer Camp. It was when I was still on the road, still traveling, so it was much smaller. I had an awesome small group of like 6th grade girls, and at the time I was very much like living like double life of like, oh, like I was really involved in like youth group and church and going on retreats and doing this summer camp. But then I had a boyfriend that like weren't making the best choices. Like it was just very unhealthy. And I definitely like, I'm somebody who my love languages are words of affirmation and quality time. And I like wasn't receiving that from him. I was seeking it out in other places, just like all of these different things. Just was feeling like very unfulfilled, very frustrated. So went to camp, got to counsel, and it's crazy because it was a middle school week of camp. So technically the talks and the dramas that were presented were dumbed down, so to speak. Like they were just a little less intense because it's 6th graders that you're talking to. For a lot of them, the biggest thing that they've been through in their life is my goldfish died the day I forgot to feed it, and it's a tragedy. But while I was there, one of the dramas, I was going through the Stations of the Cross, and it was this really cool side-by-side they were doing. So they were acting out the stations and then equating it to just like real life, and how kind of like we have inflicted that kind of ourselves like on Christ, like through him falling, the scourging at the pillar, that like a lot of our choices are free will, the ways that we choose to step away from him have just like affected that. And that just like hit me really hard. And it also hit my little 6th grade girls really hard. And we went back to small group and they were all just like sobbing and just like sharing about their lives and just all of these like, honestly, like really traumatic things that were going on for them. And I was just struck though by, even though they had all of these crazy things going on, all of these seemingly horrible, tragic things in their lives for 6th graders, or even, I mean, not just things that are for 6th graders, like parents dying or siblings having cancer, all of these things. And they were still so joyful and so willing to enter into everything that camp had to offer. They were so excited about worship and mass and hearing these talks and praying together at night. And I just realized, I was like, where did I lose that? Like, what happened? And so one of the last nights of camp, they did a night of adoration, just Jesus exposed in the sacrament, and it was beautiful. And I was especially struck by the number of seminarians that were there on staff and as counselors, and it was such an incredible witness to the love that they had for Christ and his church, and how fulfilled they were in that, and how confident they were in that call that this is what they wanted to dedicate their lives to, and that they were fulfilled by that. Like, they don't have a spouse, like they don't have a physical spouse, they don't have a wife, they don't have like a family in the sense that we think of when we say spouse or family, but they do. And it was so tangible for them, and I could see that. And I also just remember thinking, like, I want that relationship with Christ, and I also want a relationship like that with other people. It just like struck me in that moment how unfulfilled I was in this relationship with this guy, of just how just meaningless it was in the grand scheme of things, and just the little like love that was there, the lack of respect, all of that. And I was just like, Jesus, like, I want that from you. Like, I want that relationship. I want that. And it was just, I mean, just that moment of just like, wow, like giving that over, just giving that up. And I mean, it was really hard, like walking away from that experience, because it was like, well, I mean, I could just be like, okay, that was awesome, and still like date this guy and try and turn things around, like, but have a relationship with Jesus. But I just knew, like, no, like, I have to end this relationship, and I need to just really like dive into youth group, into a relationship with Christ, praying, all of these things. And I mean, I think that's really what led me to end up doing mission work after high school and continuing with camp, and just loving being there and discipling younger girls and stuff. So I think the biggest thing I can point to is, like I said, I realized I needed to just like not be living a double life. It needed to just all be like one way. It was either I'm living for Jesus or I'm not. Like I can't have it both ways, so to speak. And during my senior year of high school, I was really considering, really wanting to go to school for music production. I wanted to be on stage, wanted to be on the spotlight, wanted to be performing, wanted to be doing those things. And part of me was like, oh, well, you know, I could go for music production and like really make an impact in the secular world, but maybe also like with Christian music, because some of it's like really rough. Like maybe I could make that better, have some better music out there and whatnot. But it was still very much, it was very egotistical. It was still, I wanted to be recognized for what I was doing. And instead, and well, I guess not instead, but I just knew that that just wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. And it was more so I had peace about being a missionary over peace of like going to school for something that I knew probably wouldn't be fulfilling. And so I went to be a missionary, signed up for like music training, because I was like, well, obviously if I'm a missionary, then I will be completely glorifying God all the time, and everything will be perfect, and I'll have it all figured out, and it's going to be so great. And I went to music training and got sick, like couldn't sing, couldn't do anything. And I was like, Jesus, why did you call me here? Like, obviously I was supposed to be here to do music, and I can't do that. So how am I supposed to pray to you? How am I supposed to glorify you if I can't use my big, beautiful voice for you? Like, and it was just ridiculous. Like I broke down crying, and it was that realization of like, okay, even though like I've lost my voice, like he still hears me, he still sees me. I'm not any less loved because I was sick, because I couldn't sing. And I mean, and even now, like I'm not involved in churches like leading worship as much as I used to, but that doesn't mean that I'm any less because of it, or that I'm not like glorifying the Lord through my life. And right now, just like using music in my life and using that to glorify God looks like maybe singing the Hail Mary to my baby to help him fall asleep at night. Yeah, I mean, and it just the transformative nature is incredible. Just knowing that I'm beloved by him, that I'm seen, that I'm known, like that just transforms so many other relationships, because it also makes you realize like not only am I loved and seen and known, but so is everyone else that's around me. I mean, at its most like basic, in its most basic form, it means I have a perfect father who loves me, who not only have I like claimed him as my father, but he's claimed me as his daughter. Like I am known and loved perfectly, no matter what my earthly family, my earthly parents, my earthly father may look like. I'm loved, I'm known, just so incredibly. And that in order to really live that, to truly claim that, I need to be living that out in everything. I need to be seeing other people as my brothers and sisters in Christ, knowing that they're also claimed as sons and daughters. And it's just a beautiful family to be a part of, and just knowing, hey, I want to make my father proud. Like, not that he's going to be any less proud of me for the mistakes that I make, or it's not that he's going to love me any less, but just I want to love him and honor him in everything that I do, not because I'm afraid of him, not because I'm afraid of any wrath of God or anything. Because I mean, we know the story of the prodigal son, like he's going to welcome you back with open arms no matter what. But I want to continually sit with him and be with him and be known by him and be in his presence. My favorite way that I experience the love of God currently would be in watching my husband and the way he loves our son. It's just so beautiful, and it's just incredible. And also just the way that I love my son, and just that realization of like, I'm not a perfect mom. Like, there's times where I'm up in the middle of the night and I'm like, will you just please go to sleep? Like, I get frustrated, or all these different emotions. And realizing though, if I feel like I love Teddy this much, so much, and it feels just like so immense, knowing how imperfect that is because I'm so imperfect, it's just crazy to think about, wow, like God loves me perfectly, loves my family perfectly, loves my son perfectly, and just like sitting and resting in that, and knowing that also, just because like I may be frustrated or upset with my husband or with my son, God's gonna love me through that. And there's his grace and his mercies that are new each and every single day. And I get to experience that through the little smiles and laughs that Teddy gives me when we're praying together at night. And it's just incredible and beautiful. And yeah, just being a mom is awesome. I love it. The Lord just wants you to know that you are his beloved child, that he sees you, he knows you, he loves you perfectly and uniquely. He knows the struggles of your heart, and he desires to meet you there. He wants to hear about all of it. He wants to sit there with you when it may feel like you're in the agony in the garden. Know that he's there too, that Jesus is there with you, that he's holding your hand, that as much as you're praying, Lord, take this cup from me, Jesus has been there. He prayed it first. He knows what that feels like, and he is proof and witness that God never leaves us, that he's a perfect and good father who sees and desires our good, who knows the deepest desires of our hearts, of your heart. He wants to see you happy and loved and fulfilled in this life. And he just longs for a relationship with you. Just simply just turn to him, just look to him, just ask. And he wants to meet you there, in the brokenness and in the sadness and what feels like darkness and overwhelming waters just that are crashing over you. He wants to meet you there. He made you, he created you, he formed you. He knows it all. So just don't be afraid to lay it all out there, to bear it all out there to him, and just be open. Just please be open to him. It can be as simple as just opening your hands physically, or just imagining doing that and just seeing him take you by the hands and just saying, come on, let's walk to the Father together. I know that you can't do this alone, so let's do it together.